and also to metabolize metals, xenobiotics, that's foreign material that you ingest. And antibiotics impact on your very, very personal, if you like, gut flora, downgrading it, killing it off, and that favours yeast, which we also host in small quantities. But on, altering the balance, yeast grows. Now yeast, as most women will tell you in the Western world with thrush, is a very, very uncomfortable condition. But if you get in the gut, it doesn't go away. It dominates the bacteria and it produces toxins, metabolites, that's the waste products of the yeast, which are highly immunosuppressive. And that allows would-be pathogens that we all host, in bacteria this is, to flourish. So we've got a runaway situation. We've got very special bacteria with very special properties. They can hide, and not only hide from the immune system, but actually switch it off, tweak it. It is how they stop in the gut. So if they escape from the gut, we've got a very, very difficult job in eradicating the pathogen.
Okay. So what I'd say is that if anyone's interested in the mechanisms behind this and the importance of the gut flora and the evidence supporting it, what I suggest you do is take a look at through Paul's website, because obviously what we don't want to do is you don't want to talk about it all on this video. As we mentioned earlier, the purpose of the video is to make you aware that there is a significant problem taking place and that we need to do something about it. But you mentioned that we had some problems with the way we were currently doing our research. What did you actually mean by that?
Well, it's not recognised. Yeast infections there's plenty of information on the internet. There's Dr. Truss who first noticed that children who were given antibiotics developed irritable bowel, lethargy, all the classic symptoms of ME. That was back in the 1950s, would you believe? And then there's Dr. Crook, who's the famous one. He's got several books: Yeast Connection and the Woman, The Yeast Connection, million bestsellers. He's treated thousands of people. He's got a string of doctors that follow his doctrine, if you like.
Right.
But the sad thing is, the mainstream medicine doesn't recognise.
So I guess what you're trying to explain is that the root cause, which is the problem in the gut, is not being pursued
through academia.
Through academia as the root cause for autism.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I guess other autoimmune diseases as well.
Absolutely.
So what you're saying is that more research needs to be done, but instead of looking at things like genetics, what we really ought to be doing is doing more research into the importance of the gut flora as the root cause for these diseases.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean, one of the major parts recently of my research, I've researched this for 10 years, I'm going back 10 years, but is the honeybee problem. I find that the honeybee has got an immune system based on the gut flora, the same as us, and that antibiotics are very well implicated there, because I find that animal treatment with antibiotics is widespread, and 90% of the antibiotics given to animals ends up in the manure. Manure's product on the farmer.
So
plants take off.
Right, so you're not against antibiotics as a means of treatment. What you're concerned about is the widespread use of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how that has basically changed our environment and how we live in our environment.
Yes.
Yeah, and
we need to look again. We need to look again at antibiotics and their role on gut flora. We're in the unknown. Obviously antibiotics are a lifesaver, but it's how to restore the gut flora after.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
I may have an answer for that, but we will see.
Mm.
But the bee problem, you know, is pretty apparent with antibiotics, because antibiotics plants can take up antibiotics, and they do.
Mm.
And the bees feed on the flowers of the plants with the pollen and the nectar, and they didn't take much for a bee's for it to be disrupted. So that's the theory anyway.
Okay.
So during my research, I find that Australia have got healthy bees.
Right. Okay.
There must be a correlation.
This is
there.
all covered on the website, is it?
It's on the website.
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
I know I keep having to stop you and slow you down, because I know
Yeah.
you're really enthusiastic on the subject. I know you have an awful lot of knowledge in the area. But I want to get back to, again, the purpose of the video and what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Now, we've both been fairly active in trying to spread the message with politicians and the medical profession, and we've also given presentations to patients and sufferers as well. But we're really not making the impression that we need to. We've not been able to get people, or people, see our presentations, and they're interested. They agree with what we're saying, but nothing happens in terms of action.
No.
Yeah, and I guess this is why we're making the video. It's to bring this to people's attention.
Absolutely.
So what can people do about this to help us get this culture change, if you like?
Well, we need to make public opinion count. We need a letter to health ministers in where we've got health ministers in Canada, Britain, and congressmen and the like in the US to force the point. The autistic children, which is really distressing to hear about their symptoms. They can be brought back. They are in a situation where they're infected. You can treat that if you look at it realistically. What we need to do is make the need for urgent research, and I mean urgent. We've got very little time left with the honeybees, on the basis of my findings and your findings, and that's the reason for the video. But I can.
Okay. So what we'd like you to do, there's a letter that we've created on which is available on Paul's website, which is available to download. What we'd really like you to do is download the letter and use this to send to your MPs, to health researchers, basically to anyone that you think would be in a position to help make a difference on this particular subject. Because as Paul says, there's an awful lot of people suffering out there at the moment. It's not going to get any better if we let it continue the way it is. And also the situation regarding our environment and the honeybee population and the impact that will have on the future of our agriculture and our food. It's all something that needs to be addressed urgently, and it's not something that's going to happen without your support.
There was also a newsletter. You can sign up to a newsletter on the site. We need your email addresses. We need to be a force to be reckoned with. There's no refuting the evidence on the site and from Gary's paper, but it's not being acted on. So again, we've got to reinforce the point. We need your help.
Okay. The other thing I could suggest is also on Paul's website you can see the links to my papers and to my personal email address. If there's anybody who wants further information or has questions, let's say regarding cancer or inflammation, I'm quite happy to take emails as well.
And just to say, if you treat Gary's treatment for cancer, it's not a standalone treatment. It just takes one very large barrier away in cancer treatment, inflammation. It makes existing treatments very much more effective.
Yeah, but again, this is something that needs further research.
Well, it looks promising up to now.
Right, thank you very much.
Okay.